Hello, everyone. I am Kai. I use he, and she pronouns, and you're back for another episode of Seems Right here on my channel, Estelle of Imladris. Before we get all the way into it, let's talk about it. So, we live in extremely dark times. But I believe through collective action, we can speak loudly to instigate change. It is imperative that we speak against injustice and hold those in power accountable for wrongs committed against our communities. We must demand a better future for everyone. Protest, donate, and organize when you are able. Care for each other. Do not forget that joy and community are radical fundamentals of change. I urge you to look around you, at your neighbors, at your community. Reach out. Be there for those in need. Ask for help if you are that person in need. Make things with your community. Make joy. Resist hopelessness through action, through caring for each other. And then do something in the wider world. It's the only way we can get through this. When we stand together as a unified voice, they cannot ignore us. In caring for our neighbors here at home, we must also not forget the world that we live in. We should fight for the freedom of those oppressed around the world, especially those facing genocide and violent oppression. I stand with the people in Sudan, the DRC, and all oppressed peoples of the world and urge you not to forget them in this time of global hardship. Most importantly, I urge you not to forget Palestine. They are facing famine. They are facing ethnic cleansing in Gaza and an attempt at that also in the West Bank. So if you have a moment, a penny to spare, to send help or hope to those in Palestine, you can use !Gaza in my chat for places to send money, some tips on just a little bit of what you can do. A little action goes a long way. Uh-oh, my mic's being weird again. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay. I think maybe it was just proximity because I moved my mic around a bunch today. But let me know if it happens again. Thank you all for flagging that. So yes, I hope that you all find hope in collective action, because every little bit helps and can bring change, especially right now where the people of Palestine feel forgotten and are starving. So you can send money to the Samir Project or Gaza Soup Kitchen as just some options to help get food to refugees that have fled Gaza, or to hopefully aid within Gaza, which is very hard to get right now. So, and the other thing you can do is contact your political leaders and demand that they take action, and that they use, I don't know, the correct language even as the bare minimum, that this is a genocide, and to demand change on a governmental political level. All right, serious stuff in the world. But today we're going to do something kind of casual and fun, to kind of lighten my day, your day, hopefully. You can see my process as I do something that I've been working towards doing for years, and I'm finally going to take a little bit of action here live on Twitch, so hopefully you all see that I am taking action to do something fun for me. / I haven't built a new cosplay in quite a long time, and I'm actually very excited. So, first of all, if you're enjoying my streams, please consider following, and if you're able to, subscribing. I'm an independent content creator, and all of your support helps me continue to tell stories and talk to you about what you can do to make your stories more rich and personal. You can find all of my episodes of Seems Right, including hopefully this one very soon, over on my YouTube channel under the same name. If you're watching this on YouTube in the future, Hey, thanks. Um, the the VODs are all there, and you can see me talk about everything from how to use like costume design logic to design your tabletop characters, fun breakdowns of costuming from fantasy, Star Wars. I talk a lot about the like actual technical process of design and breaking down different world building aspects that you can integrate not only for your characters but for your world building or for your game design process. So a whole host of things, all from Seems Right. Or you can also go check out me playing video games or me playing Thousand Year Old Vampire. All of that is available here on Twitch until the VOD falls off, and then over on YouTube in perpetuity. And yeah, so you can check all of that out as well. And then before we get into me casually starting the work on my costume, I'm also so excited to announce here on my channel the release date for The Home We Remember has been announced. So for those of you who don't know or aren't familiar, The Home We Remember is a forthcoming TTRPG from Frivolous Bear Studios, which was developed by and for the production Laurie's House that I am a part of. We not only have the beautiful experimental actual play that is a podcast that you can find wherever you get your podcasts. But also we wrote the game that we play in the actual play. And very soon, I'm trying to pull open the link as I am talking. On September 8th, The Home We Remember will be released through the Ash Can will be released through Frivolous Bear Studios. You can check out the announcement post here from Tender Vicious. We have just absolutely incredible people who worked on it. I'm not just saying that because I worked on it, but also like genuinely the people who made this game possible, from the amazing writing of Hamna as our lead game designer, but also working with Gwen and Amir. What a joy. Our layout is to die for from Nala Wu. We had so much support from Quinn and a bunch of other people that you know. So go and check out the Ash Can that will be coming out on September 8th. It will give you a full copy of the game once it releases at no additional cost. And it's an introspective lyric game using tarot as the main mechanic. And you can also see my thesis in the architect section on how to write a time loop. Yep. It's quite a good time, and you can see our character art for The Home We Remember, which I am obsessed with and think every single one of them is absolutely gorgeous. So you can definitely go check that out. And yeah, it's going to be a 40-page Ash Can, because that's how long Ash Cans should be, right? We tried to make it short, I promise. It's very long. And it's absolutely beautiful. I'm so proud of it. So that was announced this morning. You can go check that out. Yeah. Now, without further ado, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing today. So, a little bit of backstory. A little bit of, gosh, there's a lot to say here. So, I got my start in costuming as a cosplayer. Love cosplay. Love the art and the entire process of cosplay. I have cosplayed quite prolifically. I am a multi-award-winning cosplayer, and you've probably never seen my face, which is very fun. Not because I wear masks, but because my whole thesis of cosplay is that cosplay should be done face-to-face, and I've known various stripes of cosplay, and this is not a knock on people who do it to perform, on people who do it to do photography, like photo shoots and that kind of stuff. All of that stuff's great. I've done photo shoots. I've done all that stuff. It's so fun. But my favorite form of cosplay is the one where you walk around and someone goes, wow, I am in the blank, whatever media that is. That's always the dream and the goal. And the immersive nature of making the costume, making it feel textured, making it feel real, and the art of then portraying that character is my favorite part of cosplay. So that's my like not long ramble about like why I cosplay. I love making really detailed costumes, and it was that passion to make, ridiculous screen accurate costumes when I had no idea what I was doing, and just kind of learning things as I went that got me into costuming professionally. And I hold it very near and dear. But also like I love picking up random just like things that I just want to make. I just want to make cosplay and then wear them. I pick characters that I'm like, I don't care if anyone knows who I am. I'm going to have so much fun. I will pick a character from the background of one scene and be like, that one's for me. Oh, it's in one scene? Fantastic. This is still my favorite costume from this entire show, so it's mine now. That kind of stuff. It is just, this is what I like, and this is what I do. And I see one of my favorite transplanter cosplayers, Erica, in chat. I love the reason for you cosplaying. It is also part of my gender expression and gender euphoria of running around, and I actually have some fun things that I already got set up for this costume that are a part of that here at my desk. So the whole thing is, I say all of that, but I also haven't built a new cosplay that was like actually made by me since 2021, I want to say, maybe 2022. And like I've retouched some stuff on some costumes, but I haven't made a lot of new cosplay basically since COVID started taking over the world. With like one very limited exception. And I used to make like 3 new costumes a year. Easily. That was like what I did. So I'm trying to get back into like making my cosplay plans and going back to conventions to just enjoy being a cosplayer. So this is the first one that when I started consuming the High Republic, I went, I'm obsessed with him. I need him. He's for me. So a little bit about Stellan. Why Stellan? And just a little bit of familiarization for all of you, since I'm sure most of you have not read the High Republic. So the High Republic is a multimedia, movie-based initiative within Star Wars. So Stellan is a Jedi, but he is a Jedi from 150 years before Order 66. So 150 years before the prequels, basically. And he is one of the main 3 Jedi at the start of the High Republic franchise, which started publishing in 2021 and just finished publishing their last adult novel last month. It is 9 adult novels, 9 YA novels, a crapload of comics, audio dramas, you name it. There's a lot, everything except for a main feature film. There is something attached to the High Republic. But it's one of those, you know how everyone talks about, oh yeah, well, Star Wars has all of these books. It's one of the like giant stack of other media Star Wars, and I personally fell madly in love with it. It was my comfort for a long time. Oh, Nightbot thinks I'm playing 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. I'm not. I'm gonna go correct that in Nightbot right now. While I continue to talk about Stellan and the High Republic. So the setting and concept for the High Republic is that it is a time of peace, and it is the height and golden age of the Jedi. All brought about by advancements in hyperspace travel. So when you think of Star Wars, you think of people jumping to light speed. Yeah, the technological advancement that makes that go good just happened in the High Republic, basically. So it's a really interesting moment in just like how everything is working in the universe, and kind of why in that moment Star Wars yes, it's after this, it's after the streamlining of lightsabers, which is important, which I'll get to. Hold on, I'm trying to turn off. There we go. There are no additional content warnings for this other than I'm gonna talk about Star Wars because I really like Star Wars. Okay, so it is a time of peace in the galaxy. A very rare moment in Star Wars, basically, in which there are no massive galactic wars. There are no massive space Nazis. There are actually no space Nazis in all of the High Republic, which is one of the reasons, one of my favorite parts of Star Wars, because I tire of them. But the High Republic is about the galaxy changing and people fighting back against. No, do not apologize, Erica. How dare you apologize? Erica was just saying that they read Wikipedia as a child for fun, and they're right. I definitely have also done this. So in this time of peace, the Jedi are expanding to hopefully spread goodwill, and they spread side by side with the Republic, which is a mixed bag because they are, as they are on the tin, a Republic. They are trying to send out a overall governing force to places that maybe don't want it. And that's the beginning of the High Republic. I don't need to tell you the whole story. I'm going to try and avoid like too big of spoilers, just because there's no need. But just know that I'm designing Stellan from phase 1. There are 3 phases, just like there's 3 trilogies of Star Wars movies. There's 3 phases of the High Republic. I'm designing Stellan from phase 1. I love him so much. And so the cool thing about Stellan, and part of why I'm just obsessed with him, is that he is just all of the best intentions and goals for good within the ideals of the Jedi. He is a freshly appointed member of the Jedi Council when we meet him. So he is like a dude. But he is a dude with a lot of, 1, baggage, my favorite, and 2, this most intense Force connection between his 2 childhood best friends I think they've ever shown in modern canon Star Wars, outside of the dyad in the sequel trilogy, which is a whole other mess that I'm not going to get into. But his 2 childhood best friends, Elzar and Avar, are, if not textually, in all the other emotional and spiritual ways, they are basically a polycule. They're a hot mess, and I'm obsessed with them. And Stellan is the good boy. He's like a paladin TM, and the thing about him, going back to what I was saying about why it's interesting that it's a time of peace, is that he is a lightsaber master. He can do, for those of you who don't know, there are multiple forms of lightsabers. They evolve with the development of lightsaber training and different uses of lightsabers. But in a time of peace, Stellan Gios decided, in the most neurodivergent way possible, that he was going to become a master of all 7 lightsaber forms, and teach about why they are important within the practice and meditation of the Jedi, teaching them as a martial art instead of as a form of combat. It's both, obviously, but he was essentially there saying, I teach this because it is the history of the Jedi. I teach this because it is a way to exist within the Force with your mind, your body, and all of your focus within it. So, obsessed with the way he talks about lightsabers, the way he thinks about lightsabers. There's just so many things about him, and he tries so hard to do good. If you've ever seen The Acolyte, R.I.P., my beloved, we do briefly see actually Vernestra Rowe, who is a investigator Jedi master. She's the Mary Allen, the green-skinned woman, who's mostly based out of the temple, who does some kind of dubious stuff. That's his Padawan. She's normal. Don't worry about it. She's also a recurring character within the High Republic, which is why I say, like, it's literally everything except for a movie. So he is on a mission to teach and care for the Jedi Order, not only from his point of view, but also he carries the legacy of his master, who was a pacifist, which is even funnier to me. So I'm a little obsessed with him. No, this was not back when masters could take multiple Padawans at a time. Vernestra was his only Padawan ever. because she was a prodigy herself, and so he was, and it's a whole thing, prodigy bonding or something. But Stellan is proof that you can have the best intentions, do everything that you think is good in a very black and white way, and still be wrong, and still do things the wrong way. And he's also stubborn and very neurodivergent coded. So I just love him. I love him with every fiber of my being. So much so that I have, of course, the thing that would be the most important to him. Let's see here. His lightsaber. This guy right here. I love it. So this is the beginning of when I say, like, I've been thinking about making this costume for a very long time. And so I have his absurdly beautiful lightsaber. It may be one of the most ridiculous and elaborate lightsabers that has ever been designed for Star Wars media. I will not be turning the blade on right now because it takes a lot of doing, but also it's a lot. I'm going to show you now an actual like art picture of what we're talking about when we start moving into what comes next. Let's see here. Let's do this. High Republic, Stellan Gios, my man. I don't need all of that stuff. Okay, so here he is. Look at this cutie. I love him. No, Wikipedia, I don't want the whole page. I just want that picture of him. Ugh. Open image, new tab, please and thank you. All right, here he is. What a guy. What a guy he is. And this is his like formal, I am a brand new member of the Jedi Council outfit. They actually have multiple forms of Jedi robes officially, like in the language of the High Republic. So these are his temple robes. There's also, he has a field outfit, essentially like a field uniform that's in brown leathers that I really like, but I really want to do the white. I really like the white robes, so we're going to talk about the white robes today. This is obviously one of the art styles. This is official art of him. Look at his beard. Love him. And his lightsaber, which is really normal. They basically, when they were talking about the design of it, they said, what if we made Excalibur but a lightsaber? And they sure did. And it's absurd, but it is actually how you're supposed to build crossbeams. Looking at you, Kylo Ren, and your shattered lightsaber. That's trash. I will talk shit in this stream. You've all been warned. Yeah, so that's one picture of Stellan. I'm going to leave that open. And I'm going to get his official other art. Here's his lightsaber. It's so pretty. Do they have the full page of this? There's a full pager of this artwork. There it is. So this is all official art of his lightsaber. The absolutely glorious, and I'm so grateful they made it, holster for it that they show in detail in this, as well as the hook attachment for the actual saber, which is not on this, sadly, but that's okay. I'll live. So I'm going to have to find a way to attach this without that. That'll be fun. That's fine. I'll figure it out. So that's the lightsaber. Let's talk about the guy, since he wears clothes. Open image in new tab. Here he is. There's got to be a bigger one. I know how Google Lens works, computer. I don't want... annoying. Anyways. Here's his boyfriend. Look at this guy. What a guy he is. This is more like going out and duty uniform style stuff. Go away, Elzar. And totally not his girlfriend. Don't even worry about it. The space princess herself. She's not a princess. Oh my god, it's so small. Why? Avar. The one that they're all really normal about. It's okay, they're all really normal about each other. Okay, here we go. There we go, bigger. Thank you, internet. So this, I'm so grateful. They have extremely clearly made character art of him, and it makes my life so much easier. So, part of the reason I want to do this is also to show you all what it's like when I actually do this. So, you always want to start with reference pictures. I'm going to pull up quite a few as we sit here of this guy. Official arts in various forms of him. The way that they depict fairly consistently his stuff, which is nice. I do wish that this didn't have the giant robe over it, but that's fine because I want to see the layers. I don't need that page anymore. Keep that. And I will very often like save these. Here's an early prototype of him that's kind of like a weird mashup child between him and Elzar that I'm also going to open. I'm glad they changed that. There's also this one. Look at him. Look at him go. And the reason for all of these, there's a bigger version of that, but whatever. Oh, you know what? The bigger one has a picture of his boots. I will find the bigger one. There's also a bigger one of this, but I don't think we see a lot of that. I'm gonna look for covers. The name of that book is... I know the event name within the book. Rising Storm? Rising Storm. There we go. So this is one of the variant covers of Rising Storm with him on it. Very old school Star Wars art. And then the regular cover. There we go. Great. We look at all these reference pictures of him. We got so many. So that's the first and main one. So we've got all of this. Thank you so much for the follow, Jupiter Scout. Reference pictures. Done. Now we're going to pull up that handy dandy spreadsheet that I made a couple weeks ago on stream. Or, no, that I went over on stream. I did not make it on stream. Yes, that is... You only have the one picture. But you know what? We got good art. Okay, so I've already made a breakout page of this. So we're just going to make a piece list to start as I look over this man and referencing between all of this artwork. They fully just did not render his boots in this art. That's fine. And he doesn't have feet in this one. So it's down to these two, which this is a really common style of like Star Wars boot that exists in the world. I'm going to move him over there. Because it's a similar style to Anakin's prequel boots. So, the way I usually build these piece lists is innermost layer to outermost layer, and then I remove things like belts, accessories, shoes until the very end. So he has a gold... I'm going to say gold under tunic. These are all wrap tunics. White long sleeve tunic with gold trim on sleeves. Alright, so this stuff right here. And then he has a yellow, I'm gonna say like light gold. Under tabard. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call that, an under tabard. And then gold temple tabard. Because that's really more a tabard than anything. It's not... That's what I would call that garment. I'm talking about this centerpiece right here that has all of the detailing. Yeah, there are so many shades of gold, Erica. You've gone deep down the gold rabbit hole already, and I'm right there with you. Okay, so that's just the visible layers that sit on his shoulders. Now we're gonna do... he's got light brown, warm brown pants. So I'm gonna say like light brown pants. Now I'm gonna do these gloves. Oh wait, the thing that's not pictured here that I'm gonna eventually want is his actual outer robe. Temple robe. And the great thing is, you'll notice also, they're very consistent in color because they have all this stuff swatched, and they have good reference of material because you can see there's light hitting this one and this one in the painting, and Bell, this guy right here, also you can see that there's reflectiveness in his formal temple robes as well. Bell Zetafar, my beloved. Cool. All right, so that's helpful information. Yeah, it is like a wide stole that's been belted. I don't know. They do what they want. Okay, and then we do the white obi. Golden yellow gloves. That's gonna be a whole thing. And then we do belt. With lightsaber holster and boots. And for shits and giggles, let's include lightsaber. Okay. Section. Torso. 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 Stellan, you have way too many layers. Torso. I picked torso for the robe because it's what it sits over. And what I'm thinking about... I'm going to say actually outerwear. Torso. Hands. Torso. So many pieces just sit on the torso for this. Wait. Legs. Light brown pants sit on the legs. Legs. Accessory. Okay. Gold under tunic. So because all of these are going to be very precise and specific shades of gold, I'm going to need to buy, I think, all of these fabrics. I have some things I might be able to use that are for the pure white, but that under tunic and over tunic need to match the gloves. I think that's going to be the hardest one to find. So I'm going to say buy... oh, wait. I'm going to have to make... What am I saying? Made to order. Made to order. Light gold under tabard. Make. Gold temple tabard. Definitely make. Buy pants. Unless you absolutely have to make pants, buy pants. Temple robe, make. White obi, make. Gloves, buy. Belt with lightsaber holster. Probably gonna have to make it. You can buy a lot of really good Jedi belts, but I'm pretty sure I will not be able to buy this one. It is so specific. I've seen people on Etsy make the buckle, which is gonna be one of the harder things. Boots, buy. Lightsaber, buy. I already have it. It's right here. I love making wrap pants, honestly. I say buy them when you can, but like I have a complete Zuko costume that I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna make all of it. That's normal, right? And I could have bought red pants, but I wanted them to be the exact color of red. I needed them to be perfect because he's a cartoon and all of his colors are the exact same. So I did make wrap pants. So I salute you, Luigi man. Yeah, Erica, you making pants is just so strong, but you're right. It's fine. Okay, so this is a lot of get the right thing. So I'm going to have to break out. I'll say done. Lightsaber done. I have that. It's the only thing I have. Oh, the other thing. You'll notice I don't have a glorious beard, but I do like having them. So I do have a beard right here on hand that I'm going to be using for this costume that I think I bought ages ago for this costume. Yeah, it's really hard to buy specific, like, especially wrap pants. It gets real dim, so no shade there. Oh, there's Topstick sticking this to things. Ah, I wanted to take it out. Anyways, you can buy nice lace beards on the internet, and I have some, like this one. That just needs a little bit of trimming and styling. Beard. It needs work. Okay, it's not gonna stay for right now. But I have a beard and mustache, which has to go on this piece list. So here we go. I should really do more actual play stuff where I need a beard. They're just hard to put on. I did the mustache for Doomsayers, which I love. Okay, well, beard, you're being a pain, so you're gonna wait to go back in. Beard happened. So that's gonna go beard, makeup, and I have it. I guess technically these are both other. And notes I have to trim. And alter. Because it has to get pinched so that it actually curves under my jaw. In process. Okay. That's actually everything now. But I do have to, like, break out pieces and do a bunch of other little detail things, because boy does he have pieces. I think the thing that I'm going to end up doing for the most of the rest of the stream is find gloves. If at any point in time during this stream you have any questions, comments about cosplay, about how to do costume, like buying research, etc., please shout it out in chat. I'm having a grand old time breaking apart all the little pieces of what makes this guy work. And I will continue to talk through it all, but also happy to kind of chat and chill. It's Monday chat and chill time. Okay, so let's do a little glove recon, because I have in my mind what these gloves are like, because they are for Mr. Lightsaber Man, who does Mr. Lightsaber Man. Jupiter Scout, do you ever buy white gloves and dye them the color you want? Yes, I have done this. The tricky thing about these is that they're, in my mind, very obviously leather gloves, and finished leather does not dye very well. You kind of have to paint it. if they were an unfinished, like not that the gloves would be unfinished, but that the leather isn't sealed, which is the thing that prevents it from dying. I would definitely consider that. But the chances of finding those is almost none. And I have painted gloves before, but they always inevitably get sticky and flake off. And even though I am very good at painting leather, I don't really want to do it on gloves. For fabric, absolutely, it is one of the best ways that you can get the color you want if you are able to dye it well. I've worked in many situations, both for theater and for live entertainment, in which I just bought like plain white satin gloves, and dyed them. They're usually spandex, which dyes like a dream. And you can dye them and then match them if it's for something like a character that's a non-humanoid skin color. So say you're purple or green or blue. That's another common reason why people buy gloves. There are good alternatives to having to dye the materials yourself. Like buying them from Wheel of Colors, which matches to the Mayron Paradise makeup line. So you could have a makeup and unitard / glove situation that does match. I have made leather gloves before. I've actually made my specialty in costume building is actually, one of them is leather. So the belt, even though like it's kind of a lot of pieces, I will probably inevitably end up building that because I love making stuff out of leather. I have a bunch of fabric boxes here that I am also going to go through. So part of the reason I'm not doing fabric shopping right now is also because I'm going to go through all my fabric boxes and inventory what I can maybe use for certain pieces and see if I can kind of color match my way into reusing stuff I already have. But I have, of my fabric boxes, 2 of them are just leather. I have a lot of leather. I have one that's untreated, undyed leather, and one that's treated and dyed finished leather. Because I have a lot of that stuff. And these are like big Sterilite bins. They're not like little bundles. And somewhere I also have just a whole side of tooling leather, which is cool and maybe what this belt will be made of. I don't need a whole side, obviously, but I have a lot of it. I will not be making these gloves because I know that you can buy them. I have every face that I can find gloves to buy, which is why when we come back from break, I'm going to go deep into the glove extravaganza. I think first of all, I'm going to see if I can just find these boots. It won't take me very long. Making stuff out of leather. My thought about making stuff out of leather is that it will last longer than if I made it out of vinyl, because for cosplay, I want to make it, and I want to never have to remake it, and I want it to last me as long as I want to have that costume, which is maybe forever. And so I make a lot of, also because my start in costuming, my very first completely made from scratch cosplay was Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, and I decided when I was 12 that I was going to learn leathercraft to make that costume, complete with like hand tooling leather armor and a bunch of other stuff. So leather and I go way back. Yes, I endeared myself to an SCA guild. And actually, when I come back from break, I actually have pieces that I made from that still around in my house because I love them so much. And like, I'll show you his out and about clothes, which is why I went around and around about like whether or not which one of these I was going to do. But I think his temple robes are far more iconic. But this is his other outfit, his other costume, and at least the lighter brown overpieces are definitely leather, given the way they texture them in art. So I was like, do I make a new leather costume? And partly for financial reasons, partly for look. Right now, I'm not making this one, even though he looks so good. I love when Stellan decides to step out and be smexy. But usually he's just Mr. Temple Robe guy. And I love that for him. So let's see really quick. We got about 7 minutes before break. I am going to see if I can find boots. And I'm going to start by just searching brown Jedi boots because I know these boots exist. And my preference would be leather. Oh. Yeah, here we go. Look at that. How did I know? They want $400 for these. That makes sense to me. Do I want to give them $400? Not particularly. Damn, these are good. Yeah, look at this. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm with you on the gay math, Erica. Damn, look at these. Okay. There's the boots I just found that I knew already existed in the wild somewhere, but these ones are even better than I thought. That's good stuff. Do they have the front seam? I would love it if they had the front seam. They've got to. That's the only way that leather would wrap like that. Even though they don't want to show it to me. That's rude. And then I would just need to add the buckles, which I can make. Yeah, the bracelet. Listen, this costume is so good and I could be 3D printing and warbling my way to victory, but I don't need to make the leather right now. That's really the thing that's stopping me on this one. Okay. Those are fantastic. I really like them. What are they made of? Tell me your secrets. Leather! Yeah, buddy! Okay, so this is where I start making save lists. So, boots. I'm just gonna make a new sheet that says links. Item. Price. Boots. For a lot of money. Link. There we go. Great. So that I can go back and if I really wanted to know, like usually on eBay, you can like write them and be like, hey, can you show me a picture of the front of the boots? Or can you tell me about the front of these boots? And they usually will. It's usually not a big deal. Free shipping from Pakistan. Very cool. Made of real leather. Love that. It will not be these probably because they're so expensive. I understand why they're so expensive and I'm sure they're beautiful and leather boots should cost a lot. Otherwise you're probably being ripped off. But that's more than I can spend on these right now. But I'm going to save that link anyways for me. Okay. Next. See if I can find cheaper boots. Wouldn't that be nice? And that was like the laziest first search ever too. And especially boots. I really avoid buying vinyl boots if I can. Like I have boots that I bought for my Caleb Widowgast from Critical Role costume that are great and beautiful, and they pretty much only make them in vinyl. But the downside is they are already cracked and I've only had them for 4 years. Thank you so much for the follow, Aman. Welcome on in. Lena's asking a question. Do you know the difference between real leather, genuine leather, and authentic leather, etc.? Okay, so shopping language. This is nightmare stuff. Thank you, Lena, for what you know is one of my pet peeves. So, when you buy things, they can call within like the rules of presenting things on the internet, vinyl, which is also probably popeline leather, which is also PU leather, which is also vegan leather. They can call those things leather, which is extremely annoying. But the best way to tell something is actually leather. So like I'm gonna go back to those boots because I was looking at them like these are probably real leather. Even online, first of all, you can email them and confirm, and if they lie to you, then you have record of it. They usually don't. But the reason I was pretty sure that these were leather in the first place is because of this grain section right here. That's where the fold is, right underneath where my cursor is, because vinyl doesn't do this. So this is the actual texture of the leather bending in just being put in a box probably. They have a lot of very, very, very tiny detail quirks that make them very obviously real leather to me. And like vinyl can do some of this, but that one in particular, I was like, this is leather. And also the thing you can do is always look like this frayed edge right here across the top. I don't know how well you all can see it on Twitch, but there is a slight texture to the inside of the boots, which means that they probably have a raw cut leather edge right there, which means they're real leather. Love a real leather edge. You can see it there too. So yeah, I do a lot of this where I'm like, oh, that's 2 different colors of leather. They didn't dye the inside because why would you? So it's real. Whereas I could probably look up Obi-Wan boots on eBay and also find ones that are crap vinyl like these, that I can tell that they're vinyl from 1,000 miles away because they have no texture. The material is too thin to be a real leather. And also they just look like you're wearing trash bags. As far as listing language goes, so like this one is probably actually listed as vinyl. Is vinyl and vegan 2 different things? So yes, with some exceptions. Anyone on Earth can claim that vinyl is just vegan leather, but there are actually really good, if you are vegan or just don't believe in buying leather, Godspeed to you. There are actually really good. They're very expensive, but there are good alternatives that are vegan leather. Like pineapple leather is exceptional. They've made purses out of it. It's really cool. There are also various degrees of good vinyl leather. Like these, as I said, these look like trash bags. This is cheap vinyl. I'm gonna navigate away from this because it's making me sad. But like, so this one is leatherette. This is, again, vinyl. You can tell there's no gradation in color. It is still pretty cheap. It doesn't bend like the other ones, though. So this is like a slightly nicer vinyl, but it's still very vinyl-y. And then there is, I'm going to look up good pineapple leather. Images. So like, remember I was talking about the grain of the leather and how it looks like leather? This is pineapple leather. It looks so real. It just looks like leather. And it feels like leather. And you can kind of do a lot of the same things that people do with garment leather with pineapple leather. And so it's honestly a discipline of going, is this real? And like if you're like Erica and you shop a lot in person in thrift stores and secondhand stores, it's really easy to go around and be like, this is vinyl. And always learn to read the label. Make sure that if you're buying a garment that was industrially manufactured, that you're looking for the material label and that kind of information, because if they're selling it in, at least in the US and I believe also in Canada, they have to have a material label in them. And even shoes, if you look inside of them, it'll be printed on the inside or on the sole. It'll say like, it'll either say the words or it'll have a little logo that looks like a flat laid out cut leather hide to show that, yes, this is leather. And you can only put that symbol on genuine leather. So yeah, we're going to go down a leather rabbit hole very shortly because I'm going glove looking. But yes, pineapple leather is rad, and it's one of those, like, not all vinyl I would consider being viably called vegan leather, even though it is vegan leather, but all pineapple leather is good vegan leather. There you go. Okay. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. When we come back, I'm going glove shopping with all of you, and you can see me live on Twitch doing exactly how I shop for stuff. But in the meantime, get up, stretch, get a snack, pet your pets if you got them, and I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from break. Making sure everything's working. Great. So, first of all, I owe you all some stuff. First of all, there's a story to this picture before I open it. Jason redeemed Show Us a Cat, and I was very excited because I have had a recent comedic cat incident in my house. So we have a small bug problem, and I got diatomaceous earth because it's animal safe, and I got, like very food safe diatomaceous earth, which kills bugs. And you like just kind of powder it around. And I put it around my cat stuff and went about my life. And I was standing in my kitchen and I just hear this strange sound. My cat's food is right next to my kitchen. And I thought Rigby was pawing at the food. I have an auto feeder. I thought he was pawing at the auto feeder. Trying to get food out of it because he likes to pull it out with his paw, throw it on the floor, and then eat it, even though there's a perfectly good bowl there. I don't ask questions. But no, that's not what's happening. He was eating the diatomaceous earth. He was eating it. Look at this idiot. He was pulling it out from all the places I had put it, eating it, and rolling in it like a chinchilla. This is a black cat. I screamed with laughter. I think I almost died. This idiot. Look at these paws. Look at this. Look at these feet. What the fuck is this? The tip of his ear is just dirt because he was shoving his head in it. Not a single thought was found in here. Nothing. He's got stuff on his nose. This guy. Yes, it is safe for kitty consumption. I double checked. That's why I got it. I always have to be careful. Any kind of, any pet owner should be careful about any kind of pest ridding stuff that they bring into their house when they have purposely brought in pests into their house. Look at this criminal. Look at this fool. But yeah, he not only did he pull it out of the feeder, he rolled in it. Like, oh, look at me. I'm perfect. Fucking, what the fuck, man? So there's that one. And then we got Erica got a tarot card pull. So let's do that really quick. I think Erica getting a tarot card pull with my table covered in cosplay stuff is correct. Alrighty. Let's get that Wild Unknown tarot deck out. Okay. We're gonna shuffle this up. I'm gonna not put the deck down onto my guide because I need that. It's such a good deck. I'm so obsessed with it. And then for those of you who don't know, I actually use this deck to GM an actual play from Tender Vision Studio called Lori's House, which you can check out wherever you get your podcasts, but it is a tarot-based TTRPG using The Home We Remember, which is a game written for this show that will be coming out on September 8th through Frivolous Bear Studios. Very exciting. All right, Erica. Here we go, friend. We have the Fool. Aw, I actually like the Fool. Such a good card. Spontaneity and innocence. I think it's a perfect card for cosplay, personally, because you choose to do it. How do you do it? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. The Fool is ready to fly. His young wings ache for flight, and with a single step, he leaves behind the comfort of the nest to begin the journey through the major arcana. Is he ready? Will he fall? This is a card about beginnings. It points to the side of you that is spontaneous, excited, naive, and inexperienced. Others may doubt your abilities. Be ready to be called the Fool. Be ready to fall. No matter what people say about you, this is your journey, and it has already begun. I love this card for all of your adventures and many ambitious endeavors, Erica. Also, I just love this card. And I think it's perfect for today, because I will always say cosplay isn't about making good costumes. It is about making something that you love because you love it in the way that you can do it. And I think that is prototypical positive reading of the Fool. Thank you so much for that channel point redeem. And we got one more from Puck. Another show us your cat. Oh no, hate showing you pictures of my cat. It's terrible. How will I live? Put this away. First of all. Put my beard back on the table. I'm gonna pin it up nicely. Okay. Cat picture number 2. I'll just give you more evidence of the criminal. I got so much. I will show you another picture, but I also just want to show you this because it's so funny. He's so funny. Like, look at how dusty he got. He's a solid black cat. This guy. Okay, but one more. Not more of the same, even though perfect angel child behavior. Let's see here. Ooh, I have this eepy sleepy king. His eepy sleepy face. Look at Watson. He's so cozy. There we go. Look at this man. This really shows off how warm tone his fur gets in the summer, too. My not black cat. With pretty eyes. No doubt he is sitting there watching me like, eat food. Fantastic. Well, you can always redeem those channel points for things like cat pictures and dice. Or tarot card pulls. So long as you watch, you accumulate those Corvid points, and you can spend it at your leisure. All right, I'll show you the other cool thing I brought over before I go back to doing research. Besides the fact that I'm gonna pin my beard on this wig head, I brought these over. I made these when I was 13. Yep, that's what normal 13-year-olds do. Totally normal behavior. So these are Aragorn's bracers from Lord of the Rings. Talking about my leather craft work. And I decided that I was going to learn how to make these. So I did. One of these days I'm going to have to do a leather stream. Lena was trying to get me to do one today, actually. I was like, I'm not ready to do that, but maybe in the near future. And these are like armor grade leather. I learned how to do this from an SCA guild. And I would do them nicer now, but boy, do they look nice still. Thank you, Key Squared. You're so right. Yeah, this is truly... This was life-altering doing this. And I never let them get very far from me because I love them so much. And they're so cool. Oh. Erica asks, if I had a weekly Stitch and Bitch, I would be here every stream. That is the iconic thing. I love Stitch and Bitch. I used to work in costume shops, so it was like my everyday life. Okay. Last but not least, over on this camera, we are going to pin up this beard really quick. Bring this over. Okay, so wig heads, you hate them. I hate them, but they're a necessary evil because they help keep things like wigs and lace facial hair nice. So I always do this with all of my facial hair pieces because just like wigs, they need to be clean, they need to be styled. So I usually start by finding the center. And I pin it in place. And for now, I'm just gonna pin it up so that it doesn't, so it starts to like be round again. And you'll notice I just have a bunch of T-pins. Which are these guys? Those you. Ah! Okay, I found it. Through a pin. I was like, ah! T-pin. There it is. That's a T-pin. It looks like a T, and it's a pin. And this one definitely needs to get sorted. You can see right here, some of the fibers have been flipped up. So the way these work is each of these hairs is actually tied on using a little knot. I actually do know how to do this. Even though I resisted wigs for most of my life, which is so funny. So if anything were to happen to these, I actually do have replacement hair. It's all fake hair. Or if I wanted to add things to this, I could add, I have like grays. And add texture to it that way. But for now, I'm just gonna pin it up. The thing I need to do for me is I need to pinch the bottoms a little bit at the corners of the chin so that it folds under the jawline when I put it on. And then do the same for the mustache, find the middle. And they make nicer heads for lace facial hair, but I don't have one. But he already looks more like Stellan. Ta-da! Look at that. That's so good. And this would be applied with spirit gum very carefully. Yes, it is like a little crochet hook. I one of these days on a stream I'll show you all because I've hand fronted some wigs at this point, which is a normal thing. Blistar Bean, how would you recommend cleaning a wig hairpiece where you don't know what it's made of? I get most of mine secondhand, so I have no way to know whether they're synthetics, real hair, or Halloween star plastic. So my first suggestion would be to find a section of weft that you don't care what happens if you clip a little bit and burn it. If it shrivels like plastic, it's plastic. If it smells like burnt hair, it's real hair. So that's, I genuinely have done that before. I have some other secondhand purchase. If they don't have the like tag in them from being manufactured, like I have a real hair one that I know that it is because I bought it from an opera that was going out of business, and like it was very well cared for. It just smells really bad. So it's a real hair wig that's really well done, and it's like a like 3B hair texture wig. It's interesting. But yeah, I genuinely will burn wigs that I don't know what they're made of. If you don't have a lot to work with to do that safely, if you do just a water wash to start, you'll probably learn a lot more about the makeup of that hair just from how the water cleans it off. And then, of course, there is wig soap, which is great. I think there are ones that are multi-fiber, but because I only usually buy synthetic wigs, usually, like, specifically I buy like a shitload of Arta wigs, I only have synthetic wig wash, which was why that one that I bought from an opera, I've only used like twice, and I just suffered through not washing it, even though I should have. And I've never washed it because I know it's real hair and I don't have the right stuff to clean it. And I also don't want to set the curls in it, which is something you have to do for textured hair, either real hair or for styled wigs, and I would have to hand curl it. So I haven't done that. It's a lot of work. So yes, unfortunately the answer is burn a part of it. I'm sure there are other tips, but that's the one that I actually have done before. Yeah. Weird but true. Weird but true. Okay. So there's that. There he is. Looking so good. Good job, Stellan. You can see that my head is much larger than this, though, which is a whole other problem when I actually shape it. Which is what Erica was talking about, like wig heads and wig forms that are actually shaped to your head. I have done this before, actually. I have a really nice cork head for wig making that was measured directly off of my head, and then I actually have it. If you do hand-tied wigs, you're supposed to actually draw on your personal real hairline and then draw off of that to fill it in correctly. And this is how they do like the beautiful baby hair wigs and all of that stuff they do for like real-looking wigs. And so I have one that's all done up with my actual hairline and stuff in it. It's a lot of work. Hand-tying wigs is an art form. There's a reason why wigs are so expensive. Okay, let's switch over to screen. So that, hi, Watson. Story of my life, jump scare, cute cat. So we're gonna look for yellow leather, non-vinyl moto gloves is kind of where I want to start. Fingerless. Maybe I'll look up driving gloves first. So the reason I like moto and driving gloves is because they are, they tend to be made of really nice materials. Problem with driving gloves is they usually look like this, which is not what I'm looking for, even though these look really nice. They're very expensive. They are probably handmade. Yep, Erica, from my mind, Widow's Peak is why I started doing this. Gotta hand tie those Widow's Peaks. Okay. I wish I could find ones that weren't $1 billion. And I usually start by just doing like a cursory view on Google to see like what the algorithm search gives me, and then narrow down my search from there. Like I would love something like these tactical gloves done in solid yellow. That's kind of the vibe I'm looking for, because these are his like fancy lightsaber training man gloves. I'll say motocross. Even though if you made fingerless motocross gloves, I have questions actually. So maybe I'll say moto gloves. Ooh. Of course, they're very expensive. But this is a good start in my book. I'm not buying these, but I might save the link just for reference, because I like the shape of them. Bring me your hands, Mr. Gios. See, it's kind of the beginnings. Yes. Also, as far as just like sizing goes, I have to buy men's gloves. I have big grabbers. I have really large hands. I wear a glove size, I think 8, which if you don't know, gloves are sized in multiple ways. Small, medium, large is my least favorite way to size gloves. I have big hands, which is great. It's very gender of me to have big grabbers, but also it is a problem because nowadays most of the men's gloves made in this world are for very specific purposes, and they're not always good. Oh, why are these from Temu? Boo! Ooh, these are nice. Biker forward. These are cool and very promising. Okay, I'm saving these. I really like them. No, the solid ones are really good. Okay. So these are great, and I could debadge them easily. Wow. I really like these. These are going in my for later list. $50. I'm also gonna do my usual Poshmark. God, I love Poshmark. Oh wait, I'm not logged in. Yes, I am. Log in. What's my login? There we go. Here we are. Poshmark. Not now. Go away. Yellow. Fingerless leather gloves. Wow, are these so not what I'm looking for? Okay. 2 padded. Listen, I love secondhand stuff, but sometimes when I want something really specific, sometimes I also don't want people to have sweat into my gloves because only I get to sweat into my gloves. Let's try eBay. Oh? Okay. We have options. No. Also, the fingers on his are very short, which I find interesting. These have a palm patch. Prove it. Oh, wow. No, absolutely not. Ooh. Okay, so these are like a knockoff of something, but they're not bad. They're like a knockoff of the ones that I really like. Oh, interesting. Are they real leather though? They are. Okay, I don't hate these. I don't hate them. I'd have to read reviews. The problem with the glove thing is that making gloves is so hard. I've made a few pairs of gloves. It is so time consuming that I would rather paint a pair of the wrong color gloves than make them. I'm just gonna save these. $24. Delivery from China. On a probably when you get it basis. So the reason for this is also because finding where the market is on like buying golden yellow gloves is kind of important on making like future decisions. These are really good. Okay, so I'm actually impressed by what we found. They're not perfect, but it's definitely a start. So I think those are really yellow. I'll see if I can also look up light brown. Like a neutral, natural color brown. Ooh, what are these? No. They also look like they're lined, which I live in Southern California, and that would be so hot to have lined gloves. I have a pair that work for the costume I bought them for, but boy, they're hot. I'm not made for that. Like, this is a good color, but the wrong style of glove. Yes, insulate yourself from kyber bleed. What are these? Show me cool stuff, eBay. Make me want to spend money. That's not eBay. Oh, it's medieval collectibles. Hilarious. Do they have a natural? No. Okay. Let's go, Etsy. Ooh, those are cool. Love gloves. The tricky part is always finding real stuff. Ooh, those are nice. I wish they had more seams on them, but they're... Oh, those are like gardening gloves. I could just... Those are gardening gloves. That's fine. Those are so funny. I'm not seeing anything that enchants me on here. I'll search yellow really quick just to see what comes up. So if I search gold, I will get something shiny metallic, which is not what I want. Y'all, there's so much junk on Etsy these days. It's really depressing. It's not even funny junk. It's just like... And there's good stuff still. Damn, those are nice. Not what I'm looking for. Nice gloves. Lots of driving gloves. Which I get. That's what normal people actually buy gloves for. But what if I want to be a spaceman? What about my needs? Okay. Giving up for now. It's fine. Looks like those yellow motocross gloves are the direction to go. I like the color of these more. So, to kind of base... I can kind of tone this down a little bit to make it more of a metallic... Not metallic, a more understated gold instead of yellow, using paint without having to worry about it flaking off. And debadging them, which is, of course, easily done. And I think those would look great. And the other thing is to figure out how I want to do all of the embroidery slash not embroidery detail work. No, stop haunting me. Because this stuff is so important, and I've seen a few done in various ways. And in my heart, I want to embroider it, which would take so long. And I've done, with quite a bit of success, various embroidery things on my costumes. But there's so much of this. So I would basically have to make the whole thing. Like, do the whole pattern. And then just sit and embroider, because I don't want it. I don't have a good embroidery machine on hand. And it's so wide that it kind of needs one to look nice. The other thing is that, like, it's really wide. And the last time I dealt with really wide embroidery, I actually ended up going with a satin. Because what the embroidery would be doing is the satin stitch anyways, which is literally made to fake satin. And I'm very good at making satin bias. For those of you who don't know, satin bias is just a strip of satin that's cut. So fabric goes two directions. It goes the length of the fabric and then the width of the fabric. But if you cut it so that the primary direction of the fabric is actually at an angle through those, the fabric becomes more stretchable and malleable. So bias tape and like seam binding and things like that are all made out of bias. I have made so much bias tape in my life. And in fact, I have gold bias tape that I handmade in my house right now. Because then I have the power to buy the color satin that I want, make the tape, and then put it on as large solid panels. And then the other option is to just fully do metallic paint. Because like on here, it looks pretty flat. In the artwork, it looks relatively flat, and it does have a shine to it. And I've seen so many versions done at this point. I kind of like the paint. It does give it that like clerical vibe. And it would look nice and flat. It would just have to be like perfectly lined paint. I would be like sitting there with a ruler. Because it has to be so symmetrical to work. And then it would be repeatable. Because the other thing is I have other people that I want to do this with. Because what's fun to cosplay a polycool if you don't cosplay all of them? What? Who said that? Yeah, I think it might be paint. And I have some really good gold paint that I can turn into a textile paint. Cheap and easy answer to textile paint. Oh no! Welcome in, Risky! I am pontificating about the virtues of painting versus embroidering the detail on the front of this. I think it's paint. I really do. So for those of you who don't know too much about like fabric paint application, you don't have to buy those little tiny jars that say fabric paint. I hate those things. You can actually just buy acrylic paint, just like cheap acrylic paint, or you can buy like nicer acrylic paint, I guess, but don't buy like fancy like artist quality acrylic paint. I buy like Liquitex Basics. I buy really cheap crap, or I buy really nice stuff because I like other qualities of it. And then you just mix it 50-50 with textile medium, which they sell in a bunch of different brands. My favorite one, I believe, is Delta. And if you mix it 50-50, yeah, it's Delta textile medium. It's so good. And I buy like giant 8-ounce jugs of it. And all you need to do is 50-50 mix your acrylic paint and the textile medium, let it dry, iron it, and it is as good as professionally printed, basically. It's so good. And then just don't run it through the dryer all the time, and it'll last you for ages. And I might do that with a really nice metallic gold that I have on really flat fabric, which means I have to probably interface the tabard. So really quick before we're done, I am going to do a breakout sheet. Yay! I'm so glad. It works. I think it's just acrylic, and then a weird other trick is you can mix the textile medium and acrylic paint and a little bit of anything that has actual like glittery metallic in it, and it will adhere better to leather and non-porous materials like vinyl. So if you do like a touch of silver in a cool tone paint and then mix that, it makes it stick better to leather. It's like weird theater trick that I learned in undergrad. But yeah, Delta and I believe Liquitex and one other company all make pretty good textile medium. And it works great. I've made t-shirts. I've done a lot of detail work. I do a lot of my aging that way so that my costumes that do have to look aged, it's actually watered down, either black or brown or whatever aging color I need, paint, textile medium, and then I paint it on, let it dry, and then I'll either iron it or put it in the dryer or blow dry it depending on the material, and it will stay forever. It's so good. Yeah. So the last thing I'm gonna do is make a breakout page for this tabard. Duplicate. Temple tabard. So that I write down the note that I'm gonna be. We're gonna make a face fabric. We're gonna line it. Interfacer. Lining. Paint. I know how to type. And this way I can actually take my projector, because I have a small projector, and symmetrically lay it all out and draw the lines on the pattern on the fabric so that I can very neatly and symmetrically lay it out, because he is so symmetrical and like it's part of the whole look. So I can lay it out on myself. I can lay it on the fabric by using a projector. We use technology as our friend here, so I can sketch it out that way using the actual geometry of the original picture. And if I do that, I will take pictures and I will share it, because I think it's a very cool process that I've used before to make sure I really like the geometry of something. I just project it onto my body, because why not when the technology exists? Yeah, well, that's been a fun adventure in me starting this costume. As I clean up, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to save all these reference pictures onto my computer. I have this breakout sheet, which if you are just following along for the first time, I do have available on my card site. We don't need to watch me pull up a link. Available for free to just download and use yourself to help you organize your costumes. It also will do your budgeting. It'll help you just keep track of stuff. So that is available for free. Twitch streaming. Here we go. Costume spreadsheet. So if you go under Seems Right and got a costume spreadsheet on this link I just sent, which is on my card site under the streaming section, you can go there and make a copy of this spreadsheet for yourself, for your own purposes in organizing your costume process. But with that, that is the end of our episode of Seems Right. Thank you so much for going on this largely just like practical journey into me starting a costume that I would love to have done by WonderCon of next year, which is in like April. I'm giving myself a lot of time because I am very busy and I want to actually get it done And so I'll be taking all this information and all the reference images, keeping it all together and revisiting the costume as I have time and money, because the other thing is it costs money to make costumes. Yeah, but thank you all for your encouragement and for coming and hanging out and crafting alongside. And I will keep you updated as this costume progresses and maybe have some streams where I'm making stuff. We'll see. But if nothing else, I would love to show you, leather in the nearest future, now that you all know my leather secret. Let's see here. What else is going on this week? Because of Comic-Con and Gen Con, we are off tomorrow. There is no Road to Nowhere on Happy Jacks because our cast is still traveling and we want to give them time to rest up and not spread anything they might have picked up from cons, including Con Crud. So we're taking a break tomorrow. We'll be back next week, hopefully. And then I will be back here on this channel doing more 1,000-Year-Old Vampire for Saku, ? The recently renamed vampire, Hiroki. I am not going to PAX U, unfortunately. Is there a painting version of Stitch and Bitch? I think this is just called Mini Painting with Friends. And then, so yes, there'll be more 1,000-Year-Old Vampire this week on Wednesday at 3 p.m. here on Estelle of Imladris. And then on Thursday, I'm bringing back some Rise and Grind, but instead of doing stuff that's hard on my computer, we're going to play some cute, cozy Tales of the Shire. Rise and Grind is my get up and hang out in your PJs Twitch stream where I'm going to chill and be comfy, and we're going to have cozy Hobbit time with Tales of the Shire that I've been having a really good time with. And then, yeah, that's it for me for the rest of the week. I thought the announcement for Lori's House was coming out later this week about the Home We Remember, so I had a little TBA slot, but it's fine. I'm so glad that it's out now. Maybe Rise and Grind Arena Brawl at a later time. I mostly just sit and talk shit while I'm playing Arena. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. It's also just full of the dregs. I don't love the culture on that game, which is why I have not streamed any Magic the Gathering Arena. Maybe with some of you. Maybe some of you can join me for Arena times and we'll make that fun, but not yet. And so we're going to have cute, cozy Hobbit time. You can come and see my Hobbit hole and go for a trip around Bywater. It's so cute. But in the meantime, I hope you all... Oh, wait. Wow, I was so fast. So I'm going to talk about the other stuff that's going on. As I've talked about it multiple times during the stream, I am also a cast member for Tender Vicious Studios' very first Home We Remember actual play. It is the first because we wrote the game. And we announced today that the Ashcan, the 40-page Ashcan for the Home We Remember, will be dropping on September 8th. I'm so excited and so proud of that game. It was such a joy to work on, so you can check that out from Frivolous Bear Studios. Where is the link? That's the wrong window. That's why I can't find it. So we will be releasing that through Frivolous Bear Studios on the 8th. There we go. Frivolous Bear Studios. You can go straight to the page for the game. It's $15 for the Ashcan. All 40 pages, professionally written, edited, laid out with beautiful artwork. Risky wants to see a cat. Fantastic. And if you just go to the page I just linked, you can buy it there. The money does not only support Frivolous Bear Studios and their amazing work trying to get independent TTRPGs created and published professionally, but also it goes to us, the creators, to Tender Vicious Studios, who had the vision to make this story and this game. Thank you, Humna. I adore you. Working with you is a dream on this project. And he really spearheaded the writing of this as well, and found us just amazing artists to work with and collaborators. So it's been a dream to do that. And so that drops on September 8th, and you too can fall in love with the Home We Remember and go on journeys into memory with people that you like telling stories with. And then I owe you all a cat. I love cat time. Do we just want more Dusty Cat? Risky, you didn't get to see Dusty Cat. I'm going to show you all one more Dusty Cat picture because he's so fucking cute. So, one more picture of Rigby's cat hilarity that had me crying with laughter. Wrong one. That one. Look at this. Look at this boy. Look at this. There's nothing in there. He just started eating it. He's so completely covered in it. He's like, what, me, Papa? Why would... Look at the dust up here. I don't even know how he got it all up in his ears. You can see all the powder that he was rolling in. Look at him. Nothing. There's nothing there. Well, fantastic. Thank you all for joining me. I should leave you all with this vision. This artiste in his prime. And I'll see you. I'm going to find someone very cool to raid, and I will see you all on Wednesday. See you then.